Hello, and welcome to Return to the Fire with Wild Women, the podcast that seeks to reignite wisdom aligned with the regeneration of people and the planet. I'm your host, Kim Carfor, founder of the 501c3 nonprofit Wild Women, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. It is such a joy to bring you this episode with Luisely Melecio-Zambrano. Luisely is a theologian, a midwife, a spiritual director, and she has her MDiv from the Jesuit School of Theology in Berkeley, California. So Luisely has this really engaging and inviting way of thinking about not just thinking, but experiencing the divine. And these words don't even do it justice, so you'll just have to listen. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to bring to you our guest today, Luisely Melecio-Zambrano. Luisely, would you like to say a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Thanks for
Yeah.
wanting to have a conversation with
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, I uh, I am a daughter of a Venezuelan woman and a Puerto Rican man, uh, and uh, the second living child of them. And um, I grew up one of six uh, kids and have always been someone who reflects back like what I see or
Mm,
what I feel.
mm,
Um, and I tend to be in awe very easily in the world and expressive in after I see the awe, I'm very expressive of it. Um, and I would say I delight in being in my body in the world.
mm,
Um, yeah. And uh, I am a spiritual director and I lead retreats and I'm a midwife as well. And mostly in home birth settings. I've done birth centers, but home birth is more um, my place of midwifing
mm.
and beyond, I would say. Um, and yeah, and I love the wild
Yay.
within me and around
Yes.
me and throughout, yeah, and throughout my lineage and beyond my lineage and
Mm.
um yeah, so I'm excited to talk about the wild.
All those things. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
love what you laid on the table so far. So many questions. With the first one is, since you brought up the term wild, what does that mean to you in terms of your work or your
Mm,
embodiment? I love how you phrase that. I delight. What did you say? I delight in being embodied because
yeah.
I find that it's such a rare gift these days, and maybe it's just
Mm,
me, but I don't think it is. I think that we live in a world that kind of discourages embodiment. And so, how to carve out spaces of delight and embodiment,
mm,
and how
mm,
does that relate to the wild to you?
mm. I think the only way to be wild, no, let's go back. I think being is wild
Mm,
if we are actually being.
that gave me
And
chills.
and I think the only way to be is if we are
Mm.
and be part of R-ing or being um is maybe not escaping um and being in the body.
Yeah.
And by being in the body, I want to be attentive to different abilities and different ways of being in the body.
Mm,
So when I say the body, I understand that there are some that being in their body or very aware of the sensations within their body can feel mm, harsh at
Mm,
the moment because of physical pain or a chronic illness or whatever it may be. But they can be in the body, the larger body. So if it hurts to breathe into their lungs and being in their bodies, can they see the breath in the trees? And
mm,
can that be a holding? Um,
mm,
so that's what I mean by embodying. Uh, in many ways, um, for me, I experience it in my body, like very aware of, am I allowing my pelvis to rest into the ground and to be held by the earth? And then that
mm,
helps me like, okay, I'm being more. Or for me, I'm very aware of, am I leaning forward? Am I
mm,
leaning back? Am I resisting in any way? Like I get a lot of information about being in my physical body. But there's also a body beyond our body that is also part of it. I come from I'm Catholic roots, and I always love the image of the body of Christ.
mm.
And for me, I never, from my lens at the time, and it was just, it includes all. Like it
Yeah.
includes all.
Wow.
And so to answer your question about what it means to be wild, for me, it's anytime we are being and allowing, um, not resisting or controlling or constraining uh, different parts of ourselves
Wow.
or the world.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. I already, as you were speaking, I already felt my shoulders relax.
Yeah.
And then my chest opened up.
Yeah.
And then my pelvis kind of settled. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that there was
Yeah.
tension there, that I was kind of holding something. But even just the way that you kind of guided through the conversation, it was, oh, that's what it, yeah,
Yeah.
that was elegant.
Mm,
Very cool.
mm,
I want to hear, so I'm fascinated about your work as a midwife. So how did that journey happen? And what was
mm,
your origin story? I love
mm,
hearing about origin stories. So I guess I have two questions. Have you always been this embodied or felt this call to foreground the body and embodiment? And how does that connect to your origin story? Those are two separate questions.
mhm,
So,
mhm. Yes
or I
to,
guess, what is your origin story?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes to the embodiment piece. Um, I, and I guess the embodiment piece is like an including of all, like a welcoming of all. Um, and it ties into my origin or the
Mm,
origin of mm, um, my journeying as a midwife, if that makes sense,
yeah.
um, or vocation as a midwife. I, so I'm Venezuelan and Puerto Rican, and from my Venezuelan side, we're a mix from those who colonized, and Timotocuica is
Mm,
my mom's from the Andes in Venezuela. Um, but there's a respecting of dreams and an
mm,
honoring of dreams, um, and other intuitive knowings. And uh, and so that is part of the story in the beginning.
the Genesis.
Um, no, my mom uh, had my first sibling, Noreli, my sister. And then after having Noreli, she had Luisa, my second sister. And Luisa died as an infant. Um, eh,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah, she died, thank you, 12 days after being born. And then my mom was pregnant again,
Mm.
and then the baby died in her womb.
Oh.
Um, and then I was born.
Mm.
And as soon as I could speak, I was like, quiero un hermanito. Like, I want a baby brother, baby sister. I want a baby brother, baby sister. So I would ask uh, every night. And my mom had another pregnancy, and then that baby died as well. And then another pregnancy, and that little one died
Wow.
as well. So 6 pregnancies, mommy, two of us were living. And I kept on asking.
Wow.
And at one point, mommy was like, hijita, ya tu mami ha hecho todo lo posible. Like, I've done everything possible. If you want, you can ask
Mm.
God. And I was like, okay. Um, so I did. And I woke up one day when I was 4 and went to the kitchen, and mommy was making arepas, which is what many Venezuelans eat for breakfast often. And and I was like, Mommy, God spoke to me last night. And she was like, uh-huh. And what did God say? And I was like, God said we were gonna have a baby. And she was like, uh-huh, when is this baby coming? And I was like, for my birthday. And then she sort of stopped and then like got to eye level and was like, ¿Cómo fue, hija? You know, like, can you repeat that? And I was like, Mommy, para mi cumpleaños, for my birthday, we're going to have a baby brother, baby sister. And Mommy started calculating, and then Mommy didn't have regular periods. So she went and she did a urine test, and it came back that she was pregnant. And she was like, she didn't want to believe it. It's very vulnerable. And
Wow.
so she tried again, and no, and then blood test. And anyway, my mom was pregnant. And I, from that morning, started kissing her belly, which had no evidence of pregnancy on it. And in our family, we still do make a little, like a little blessing, a little cross on the forehead. And so I would just do a little cross on her belly and be like, Te amo, bebé. Um, Meanwhile,
Wow.
mommy really didn't want me to get too attached to this being inside because she was like, I don't
Yeah.
know. And I had so much excitement and enthusiasm about the baby. And my dad was like, this child swears this baby is sent by God. There's nothing you can do. Like, you can't
Yeah.
convince her.
Yeah.
And I kept on asking and eventually convinced my mom to take me to her appointments, her prenatal appointments. And there I remember that there was uh, it was an OBGYN. But there was a mannequin that had half of the body with skin, and the other half you could see the organs inside.
Uh-huh.
And there you could see the baby. And so uh, the OB would show me, the obstetrician would show me what position the baby was in. So I'd come back home and then I'd grab uh, one of my teddy bears. I know exactly which one. It was like the teddy bear
Do you still
that I
have the
had.
teddy bear?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, somewhere in my mom and my dad's house.
Yeah.
Um, Rosa, and I would put her into my sister's shirt. Like my sister would put, and I would put it in the position that the baby was in. And I was like, okay, now you have contractions. Now your water broke. And so she would like act it out. And then now I see the head. And then the baby would come out, and then now you have to breastfeed. And, like all of this.
Wow. Wow.
Um, and I started telling my family that I want to be an OBGYN when I grew up, associating OBGYN with being there for this miracle, like
Mm.
witnessing this
Yeah.
miracle. And my sister was born June 4th, and she was jaundiced, so they didn't they wanted to keep on observing the baby because of my mom's obstetrical history. And my mom was discharged on June 9th and came home with the baby on June 9th, which is my birthday.
Wow.
And so,
Whoa.
yeah. And from there, um, I, th- I, I think there was this, I guess, awe again and
Mm,
reverence for this amazing thing and knowing that it didn't have to end in a live birth,
mm,
or a live baby later on.
mm,
Now I've received that same sister, I've received two of or her two children as her
mm.
midwife. But
Wow.
there is this understanding of maybe the wildness of it
Yeah.
and that death was a part of it. Um,
Mm, mm,
and then what I would tell my aunts, like the wording was, quiero estar ahí, like I want to be there for
mm.
the, like to be present for that, the miracle, like to accompany and witness that miracle.
Yeah.
And I think um, that stayed very strong that I was going to be an OBGYN until I was 14. And then I was like, oh, maybe, um, yeah, different insecurities came up for me. And I was like, maybe I won't do it.
Mm, mm,
And and then eventually I thought, oh, well, and then eventually I realized that midwifery was more what I would do. And I was like, well, I'll accompany people as a midwife in their spirituality. And then
yeah.
maybe one day I'll be a midwife for little babies. And then maybe one day I'll be a midwife for the dying, the people who are anyone who's passing. And as I look now at the trajectory of what's happened since I was 4, um,
Mm, mm,
I think that maybe my calling as a midwife has been that
mm,
of presencing, being present in myself in order to presence
mm,
the wonder of the wild that cannot be
mm.
controlled but can be listened to
Oh,
and can be tended to
yeah.
and can be accompanied.
Yeah. Oh.
And and in that, seeing this um, this cycle, which I'm going to use like nerdy language of Paschal mystery, like, but
Nice.
this cycle of life, death, and life again, like
Mm-hmm.
how it continues over and over again. And I see that as a spiritual director, and I get to witness that and behold it and be present as I presence
Mm.
and as a midwife as well.
Um,
Um, and I don't, I,
mm,
yeah, I think that yes, of course, they're embodied in different ways when I'm with someone who's birthing or going through an unexpected outcome or
mm.
in the postpartum or breastfeeding support or
Yeah.
it I accompany when I'm as a spiritual director, it looks externally differently and it is a different modality of accompanying.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the essence is the same, if that makes sense.
Mm,
It's like this
mm,
um,
mm,
a deep listening and receiving and reflecting back and um, being in awe and wonder of the wild and knowing
mm,
and resting in the fact that I am not uh, calling the shots. Like it's,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was so beautifully said. And I find that So for me, the wild is a theological concept, and it
Mm,
sounds like it
mm,
for you. And having that awe and reverence is part of the respect. And so you're saying that, you know, in your work as a spiritual director and as a midwife, it's about not controlling, but listening and tending.
mm,
And as you were saying that, I was imagining even in this conversation, what wants to be birthed, right? Like I
mhm.
can control
Yes,
it with my mind. I can have my list of questions, but then it's just coming from the head. But if we
yes,
step back and just open up and tend to, okay, there is the wild even in our relationship. What is
yes.
that wild being that wants to emerge? Is that kind of how you feel the connection between your work as a midwife and spiritual director? And for me, it's feminine, but maybe even the gendering it kind of takes away from the experience. I'm not sure.
Yeah. For me, it includes the feminine and it's beyond the feminine.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
Beautiful.
I'm a fan of the feminine. But I'm not I think it's healthy many times when the pendulum has been so much on
Yeah.
one side to allow the pendulum to go to the other. And but for me, the divine, if we're speaking about the divine, just
Yeah.
goes like
Yeah.
it includes all and is beyond all. Like it's um
Yeah.
there's something, and a lot of the metaphors or the images that come to me when it's about the divine many times are feminine or have these metaphors that feel earthy and familiar to me. But then,
Mm,
especially in moments of growth or in moments of like deep pain or sorrow, or
mm,
the image of the divine, if there is an image, needs to expand. It
yeah.
needs to.
Yeah.
And so, and uh, I since you bring the feminine, I identify as a feminist and have
Mm,
since before I
mm.
knew what the word meant. Um, but it, for me, it was about the
Yeah.
including, and including in a way that feels like, um, for some reason, what comes to mind is bread. Like, oh, you like this part of the bread. Here, have this bread, and that, like,
Mm,
everybody gets some bread.
yeah.
And the understanding that I like the squishy inside warm part, and other people like the like crusty outside part, and
So true.
like just the
Yeah.
particularity and the specificity of everyone being included. Um, and for the longest time, I said I was Catholic rooted, so
Yeah.
um, I have been or as a child started translating in mass. Like whenever they'd say, "Lord, hear our prayer," I'd be like, "Love, hear our prayer." I needed to make it not
Oh.
Lord or
So
hear.
you
It
did
like,
that naturally then.
oh yeah,
You
as a
didn't
little
even
kid.
need to read a feminist theologian.
No,
You
no,
were,
no, no,
how did
no.
that come to you? It was just so obvious.
It was just so obvious
Okay.
for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Or like there's a prayer in the Catholic Mass, which is um now I don't know even know if I can say it the correct way, but
Mm.
it is uh Lord, what I'm not worthy to receive you, but only say a word and I shall be
I shall
healed.
be healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I switched. I was like, that's not true.
Mm.
You, I like, we are the body of Christ. We are made to receive you. We were like, that is how we were made, was to receive you. So for me, I just switched it. I was like,
Yeah.
no, I say it in Spanish, but um, like you created me worthy. It's not
Mm.
even worthy. I'm like, that's silly humans.
The
Worthy. But
translation. Yeah.
exactly. But like you created me to receive you. Let me believe that I'm worthy of receiving
Um,
you.
oh,
And so there's so much that I was like, oh, it
mm,
doesn't taste like God. Like this
mm.
is like, nah, let's make it.
It doesn't taste
Yeah.
like God. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah.
And then continue. Yeah, let's make it how would you put that? Let's make it tastier, richer,
For
more
me, in order to be in the setting,
yeah,
I needed to make it prayer.
yeah,
And that was prayer. So it wasn't even about like, I don't know, it was about making it prayer, feel like prayer.
yeah,
And so I say all that, but when I went, I accompanied people in women in correctional institutes, um, and they were from all different religions. And I
oh,
realized that, especially because so much of my images of the divine were feminine, I had that tilt.
yeah.
But in accompanying different people, I realized the divine comes in the image that is safe to that person.
Oh, yeah.
And for some,
Hmm.
their attachment figures that were feminine were not safe. And for some, the attachment
Oh,
figures that were male, and for some, it was humans were not safe. So
yeah.
God would come as an animal,
Oh,
like in their
beautiful.
image,
Yeah,
or beyond animal,
yeah,
so there's something too of the presencing the divine, or like being in awe and like, I don't know, just awake or alert or listening, that then keeps on also expanding of, yes, it's feminine and beyond.
yeah, yeah. And I love this idea of the divine comes to us in the images that are safe to us.
Mm, mm, mm,
I love this idea of safety
mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm,
that is what the divine is
mm,
how do you connect to the transcendent or the ultimate mother or father or,
mm-hmm,
non-gendered origin,
mm-hmm,
source, whatever metaphor feels safe. I can't say I've ever thought of it that way. And I think that's so beautiful because safety is something that we all deserve just
mm,
by the nature of being here.
mm, mm,
And so, how could maybe let's turn to our listeners, how could someone identify a sense of safety within their own embodiment
mm,
in
mm,
aligning with the divine?
mm-hmm. Well, for me, mm, part of me is like, I don't know if it's even finding, it's more resting
Resting.
into what's, um,
Hmm.
or receiving. Uh, I think initially, or I don't know if this is accurate, but I think there are different um, stages and different moments depending on what's going on in our life,
Mm-hmm.
that the divine
Mm-hmm.
is encountered in different ways. And so I'm saying this before answering your question, but I
Mm-hmm.
say that the
Yeah.
divine comes in what is safe. And I also think that once there is that safety and that relationship and that like secure attachment with the divine,
Yeah.
then I think sometimes the divine invites us beyond what's safe as well.
Oh,
And by beyond what's safe is beyond what may feel like what's comfort.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that the divine is safe. I want to name that, but that beyond what is comfortable or beyond and continues expanding and liberating us, right?
Yeah.
Because if not, we're staying in. But I think that the first step is may we feel safe. May we rest. May we know that we are held. May we, like all of these. like a little one, like in the first 3 years of life. It's really important
Oh,
that they are
yeah.
attached
The
and that they know
attachment.
that when they cry, they are fed, that
Yeah.
they'll be comforted and warmed, that they're
Yeah.
sort of in that same way. The same
Mm.
with uh,
Mm.
the accompaniment. And in different moments, the divine may seem like beyond. And if something is really, if I become a little child again, like little Luisely is like freaking out, then sometimes the divine becomes like, okay, let me give
Yeah.
you like the concrete safety that you need. Like let's just like let's
Oh.
let's mother for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Let's mother you, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, here's my breast, like
Yeah.
eat.
Yeah.
So
Nourishment. Yeah.
so I want to name that when naming about the safety. And your question was, and push back if this wasn't, if I'm not remembering correctly, but your question was for the listener, how do they find safety in the divine?
Yeah, like if we have searchers out there
Mm,
right now listening and, maybe they've never thought about the divine as safety because,
mm,
our traditions have very I mean, it depends on what church you go to or what community you grow up in, what culture, but a lot of the times religion tends to be this prepackaged, it gets delivered in a package. And
mhm,
then for me, it's okay, opening it up and then and I guess this is to label it is process theology is that it can change as you grow and develop. And
mm.
so if listeners haven't considered this idea of the divine is safety, and so how can they align with that or find
Oh.
that?
For me, I think it's in themselves. So their
Yeah.
body, like that is
Oh.
what tell, like, for example, I ate this delicious dinner last night. It was
Do
so
tell.
delicious. I
Oh,
like danced. It was Burmese food. It was just so,
oh,
so good.
that sounds so good.
And that's delicious for my taste buds.
Yeah.
And I can't say that it's going to be delicious for yours or for anybody
Mm.
else's,
Mm-hmm.
but it made me dance. It made like
Mm.
I was like radiating with joy
Oh,
eating this meal.
yeah.
And so my invitation would be, where do you feel safe? What and and by safe I don't mean comfortable. I
Yeah.
mean like
Yeah.
what for many a place of awe or going beyond ourselves or our like
Mm.
worries or whatever is nature, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the wild physically out there
Right.
that helps us connect to the wild in
Remember.
us.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and so if you find, I say you, but what what gives you that sensation of like, I associate it with love, but it can be other words can be used, but um of belovedness, like of feeling beloved and
Mm.
of
Yeah.
having that um and that start there. It
Yeah.
would be my invitation. And that can be so many things.
Yeah.
For some people,
Yeah.
that can be um and yeah, that can be making puzzles. And for others, for me, dance is a huge way of that.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yep.
and for others, cooking, and for others, it can be meditating, like
Yeah.
silent stillness, meditating. For others, hiking.
Yeah.
And so my invitation, if people haven't been curious or followed this curiosity with the divine, I would invite them for a week,
Mm.
sort of do like this little inventory
Ooh.
before they go to bed at night.
Nice.
And this is completely like I am taking this from Saint Ignatius of Loyola, who called it the examine, but
Yeah.
it's like noticing, I'm taking parts of it, noticing when did I feel fully alive?
Yeah.
when did I feel most myself, most authentic? When was I like in the flow? Or
Yeah.
when was I turning towards love or like in love? Like,
Mm.
and write those down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe the next day you choose to do that like to make that more accessible for you. And then also I would invite noticing what didn't feel like when you didn't feel like your most authentic self, or
Yeah.
um when you feel like you felt you turned out of fear, or you reacted out of fear, or you didn't say anything out of fear, or you spoke out of fear, or
Yeah.
um
Mm.
where you didn't feel authentic, where you notice like, oh, that was completely me responding out of my ego.
Yeah.
Thank you, ego, for wanting to
Yeah.
protect me. And
For
that
real.
wasn't necessarily me, where you didn't feel your freest self. And then noticing like you can see a pattern of that, and you can see what was happening right before. Like, are there little patterns? Like, for example, for me, if I don't eat,
Yeah.
I'm more likely to be reactive
Yeah.
and respond and be in a place of embodiment. Maybe
Yeah.
because I don't want to be in my body because I'm feeling hungry. And so,
Yeah.
a very
For sure.
physical, um, so, or if people don't, what can be tweaked the next day to make it more likely to feel present or fully alive or have those moments? And for me, those are moments of the divine being palpable in us.
Yeah.
And then us recognizing the flavor of the divine or the
Yeah.
feel of the divine.
Yeah.
And and usually I invite people like take a few breaths before you do this. Like try to come from a place of love and compassion towards self. And for some people, they can ground in like, okay, divine, be present with me as I look through the day. For
Yeah.
other people, it can just be being in their breath in their body for a few breaths and
Yeah.
then going into it. And then if you end the little practice, if people want, of the examine, which is a very like strong word, very masculine energy.
Yeah.
Um, but it's not that, it's like it's so livable, I think, this practice.
Yeah.
At the end, there can be a hope of like, okay, maybe today I make sure to put an alarm on my phone so I eat
Yeah.
before going into that meeting.
Right.
And that way I'm setting myself up for
Mm.
more embodiment and more in my selfness.
Yeah.
For other people, it can be, oh, in this setting, I feel insecure. And so then I tend to act more out of ego. So, and that doesn't
Mm.
feel good in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So, what reminds me of my true self? And can I do that before going into that setting? Like,
Mm.
there's just different ways. And I
Yeah.
think then when we're in flow, in my opinion, we're flowing with and in and through the divine. Like, it's not like this,
Yeah.
like, oh, the divine that we have to search for and look for, and like a lot of efforting.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's very particular.
Mm-hmm.
When I sit with people as a spiritual director, I notice that the the ways the divine is present for them is so particular to them.
Mm.
It's so delicious, just like the
Yeah.
meal that for me made me like shake my tail. Ooh, was great for my taste buds, and for somebody else's taste buds, it might have been like, ugh. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be for everybody's taste buds. It's what makes me fully alive.
Yeah.
Um, and
Mm.
if I'm fully alive, then I will embody myself in the world, which is the biggest gift I can give others and
Yeah.
myself in life. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. As you were talking, yes to everything you're saying. Um, and obviously, I think the world would be a better place if we were all constantly encouraged to engage in life in this way. And as you were talking, I was thinking about this idea of fear. And I don't know why. Maybe because So I'll just speak in my line of work. So I take people out into the wilderness to do immersion experiences. And there have been times when that experience is so different from what their everyday experience is, then they have to have this huge shift when they come home. And I think that can be scary, right? Like, oh, I'm going to quit my job, or I'm going to, you know, find
Mhm.
a new partner, or oh, I didn't know I wanted to have a child. Now I'm going to have a child, right?
Yeah.
But I think it can, it can be so much more delicate and small and ongoing. And I think that you inviting us to think about the examine is a very approachable way to invite the divine into a human's everyday experience. And
Mhm.
that, so after that week, what would you recommend? Just kind of going over and seeing, okay, what sparked that richness, and how, and then learning how to align oneself with those, or include more of those. And I think you kind of touched on it when you said, oh, I guess I'll have to eat before I go into the
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be very simple things.
I think the invitation really is uh, to be sort of more, to listen more to our lives, or to be more awake to our lives,
Yeah.
and to be present in our lives.
Yeah.
So yes, this exercise helps like the throughout the week and beyond. May that listening continue.
Yeah.
And I think that my experience with the divine is that the divine is consensual. And
Yeah.
I know that there are certain things that seem non-consensual, like death. When somebody dies,
Right.
it doesn't seem like the divine's like, so Luisely, how do you feel?
When would you like this?
When would you like me to, like, I don't mean consensual that we have control in
Yeah.
that way, but I do mean that love is consensual, right? Nothing is forced, nothing is.
Yeah.
And for me, the divine is the same way. It's like the divine is full of invitations and no forcing.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm,
and
mm.
the invitations can be loud, like what you're saying, when people go to these wilderness retreats or experiences and then come back and they're like, whoa, I don't think I can
Whoa.
ignore that.
Yeah. Yeah. The message was loud.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
invitations I think can be loud and sometimes they can be really soft.
Yeah.
And I think it's okay no matter, but I still think there's consent.
Yeah.
And so
Definitely.
my invitation would be, may we listen to our life. May we um, be awake to our lives and choose, even in the little ways, whatever feels accessible and
Yeah.
safe to our nervous system, right?
Yeah.
So if if after the week or after the first day you're like, oh shoot, I don't know if I want to stay in this job. Like
Yeah.
if you start noticing after a week, like, but that seems too big. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What doesn't feel big?
Good. Yeah.
Oh, actually, I think I can wear shoes that are comfortable for me,
Yeah.
where I can feel the ground underneath my feet throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that was the accessible change
Yeah.
or shift. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not an external thing. Sometimes it's, I'm going to take a breath before
Mm,
each call I do.
yeah.
Or when I'm listening, I'm going to take a breath before I respond.
Mm,
Nobody needs to know that this is happening, but this
mm,
helps slow things down. It puts pauses so I can realize what my choice is in the moment, or what is actually occurring, not reacting. There's just all these
yeah.
different things. The
Mm,
the opportunities that we have to awaken to life and to the divine, to realize the palpability of the divine,
yeah.
are constant. Like,
Mm,
so if we miss the mark, like if I'm like, shoot, I just like acted out of shame, or I just acted out of trauma, whatever the thing may be.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you got the next moment to choose otherwise. Like
Yeah.
there's, or if we, um, if we're realizing after the week, if we realize, wow, every time I think I'm just gonna scroll for a little bit, it ends up being 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make sure that I maybe scroll after I've eaten in the daytime when I'm sitting and I have a next thing coming up on my schedule.
So
Like
that you
a thing,
bookend it.
whatever the thing is, I'm
Yeah.
making things up right now.
Yeah.
But you can do that and see how it feels in your body and then see, was that a consolation or a desolation? Like, was that something that led to more life or did it lead to less of my authentic self? And
Yeah.
then from there, I think we can numb ourselves very well.
Yeah, we can for sure.
And we also can learn to recognize um, what belovedness, what belonging, what connection, what presence feels like. And I think that
Hmm.
um, that can lead to deeper freedom and can feel good. And so we may choose, like, actually, I will choose this little shift
Yeah.
and see, check it out.
Yeah.
And that in itself, if it tastes good in our mouth, we'll continue wanting to eat that thing, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I don't think that a should needs to come in or a like, I
Yeah.
need to follow this assignment. It's more like, is there a curiosity here?
Curiosity and
What
invitation.
invitation exactly? And
Yeah.
with spaciousness and consent but just that, like wondering and then an awe and yeah.
Yeah. So I keep thinking about this term discernment. And I
Mm,
love how you keep bringing it back to awe. I think that's really important in terms of these moments, what brings awe and yumminess.
mm,
Um, but discernment in the body, and I'm thinking of Adrienne Marie Brown when she says knowing what a yes feels like in your
mm,
body versus a no.
mhm,
And as you were talking and thinking, well, a no is obviously the contraction,
mm,
or when you can tell you're reacting or speaking from ego, and then a yes is this more, even as I'm talking to you, I just feel so much more open and relaxed in this flow stage and like in yeah, like you said, there's not a word for it. I want to say love, but it's just this
mm,
it's like a richness, and you
mm,
said belonging, and so maybe I'm answering my own question as I'm
mm,
wandering with you is okay, discerning these two.
mhm,
Beautiful.
mhm, mhm,
Oh, you've given us so many gifts. I feel like your being and presence in the world is such a gift, and I'm so
mhm,
grateful for you sharing that with us.
mhm,
I'm really grateful.
mhm.
Kind of switching gears a little bit, maybe just a little bit more, if that's okay, a little bit
Yeah,
more
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Speaking of consent.
I consent.
Beautiful.
I give my enthusiastic yes.
Yay. I'm like, I want more gifts from you while I have you on. They're so beautiful. Oh, nourishing. It's just very nourishing, your approach
Mm,
to the world and spirituality and encountering the divine.
mm.
I really, so I want to go back because you gave us such a gift in sharing your origin story. That is pure magic. I mean,
Mm,
let us just
mm.
celebrate that.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
this is what stories are made of. I mean, I can't believe that you had that kind of connection to the divine and even this sense of calling and purpose of your place in this world at such a young age. And then When you said that your culture really encouraged attuning to dreams and taking them seriously, but I just feel like, you hear of, speaking from the Catholic tradition who honors saints, it's like you hear these stories of how they came to be who they are. And I'm like, that's a story of sainthood and just
Mhm.
these
Mhm.
magical stories. So I just want to honor that. And thank you for sharing.
Mhm. Mhm. May I name something
Yes,
about that?
please. Yeah.
I I think our nature as creatures is that mystery.
Yeah.
I think
Mm,
I think there were things in my life that helped preserve it maybe or different. I think or or who knows what it was. I don't know. It's mystery. But there
yeah.
but I believe that even saints or these I think we all are created with and for that connection.
Yeah.
And I think that different settings and different um, situations maybe or different stories, like different things may put lots of veils to it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
eh,
The
like
veils.
yeah, or lots
Yeah.
of curtains or something to it. But I think that yes, it is a wonder. I want to acknowledge, yes, I think it's a wonder and amazing and magical and mysterious and I believe that that is life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that um there are different illusions or different things that may be put in front or may cloud
Yeah.
that. Um, but I just want to name that I think that mystery is ordinary.
Mm.
And
Mm. Mm.
that if we and for different reasons at different moments there can be training to not
Mm.
trust or to
Yeah.
control or to whatever, to
Mm-hmm.
disembody in different ways, or there are different factors, but that the ordinary would it is or is the mystery, like that it's part of the,
Yeah.
like even if you think about breath,
Yeah.
what we're doing in this moment, that we're breathing and what our lungs and our cells are doing, like that is
Yeah.
a miracle. That's magic, like,
Yeah.
and that's and we're if we're alive right now, we're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Where does
Um,
that come from? Who initiates that? That's wild.
yeah, exactly. That's wild. And it's in us.
And it's in us. And it's
And it's around us. And
ordinary.
yes. And I also think that because it can be lost or like it can become really hidden or something.
Yeah.
I think it can
Yeah.
be a practice to start noticing the different stories or illusions that can block the mystery
Yeah.
and allow those to, oh, maybe I don't have to hang on to that one.
Mm.
Or maybe I can let go of that one.
Ooh.
Or maybe I can rest, or maybe I could just look this way. Like and not get lost in that veil or that whatever. We can
Yeah.
just that's all I want to say. Thank you. I agree that it's mystery and it's
Ooh.
wonderful and it's magical and it's amazing. And I believe I just think that we're all wonders.
Yeah. the divine birthright, but I love this idea of, and for the listeners who aren't watching, when you said the veil, you put your hands up and it's layer upon layer. And I've heard in the Buddhist tradition, they talk about the onion and peeling away the onion. And I think at first I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what you're talking about. But that at that core is that connection.
Mm, mm,
And so thinking about these layer, and in the Buddhist tradition, they call it Maya illusion, right? That's
mm,
not your true self.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
Well, you're such a good storyteller. So I'm going to ask you to tell one more story before I let you go. And if you want to continue off talking about anything, um, I'm happy to receive that gift. But I'm wondering if there's any story that you feel called to share in your experience of being a midwife or a spiritual director that you really felt this awe, just something that really stands out. Like all of them? That's awesome. I
Oh
mean,
my
you're right.
goodness.
You're attuning to the mystery of life.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I saw Direct before this call. I was with a Direct, and so you asked, and I'm like, I can just like that. There's so much that happened there.
Wow.
It's just
Yeah.
it's abundant, I want to say. Like
Good.
it's um
Mm,
there I'll speak. There's just so many. Um
mm, mm.
uh I'll speak about one because I've someone's given consent about me sharing this.
Yeah. And I was thinking about consent as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'll name this one not because it is the most recent or because it's an oddball, but just because of the consent piece.
Yeah.
Um, I mentioned my being a midwife for my sister, the one who was born
Yeah.
after me. And with her first, it was a home birth, and everything was smooth and going well. And as midwives, we take blood pressure ever so often. We do like different things to just help everything stay. We're just attentive. We're listening
Yeah.
um, to make sure that things are continuing in the flow of birth, or that we're listening to anything that is calling for attention.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, I
Mm.
took her blood pressure, and it was high. And her blood pressure had been like super chill, great blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I took it, and it was elevated. Eh, And with blood pressures, usually um, there's we are very attentive to blood pressure because of preeclampsia and other things. We want to make sure that that oxygen is getting to the little one and also to the birthing person and all that. But it was her first high blood pressure, and so
Mm.
I I told her, I was like, Nina, I give her some water and let her know. I was like, so your blood pressure is quite high. Eh, and I'm going to give you some time. Like, you can talk to your body. You can bring in anybody who you want to bring in. But just want to like invite the blood pressure to come down. And if it doesn't, it's your body letting us know something. And
Mm-hmm.
so home is no longer going to be like the safe place
Mm,
birth necessarily. And so, but I was like, but just, I want to give you a bit, like, I'll check in a little bit. And at the time, I went and left her alone, and I got um, some natural tincture things and to help, and but was giving her that time with her body
mm, mm,
uh, and also attentive to like, okay, what hospital would we go to? Blah blah blah. Not putting all of that on her mind at the time because we're trying to make sure the blood pressure stays happy.
yeah.
But in
Yeah.
my mind, as the midwife, like
Yeah.
just making sure all of those things are attentive to all of that. And I came back in the room and I took her blood pressure again, and it was completely normal, like back to her place. And then she was in labor switch, she was going in labor, and the baby was born, etc. Blah 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 blah. Everything. It was a very very beautiful birth with her being very much in her body, the little one being in the little one's body.
Mm,
And every birth is beautiful, but it felt like she felt present
mm,
in the experience, and the little one also. And I asked her postpartum the next day, when I was doing her first day postpartum visit, I asked her, I was like, Nina, what happened when I left you in the room? Because that was crazy how it like the shift was significant.
yeah.
She was like, I just talked to my body. I
Oh,
said, okay, tell me, what do you need? Like listen,
wow. Yeah.
and then I told my body, I let my body know, like, it's okay, we're just having a baby.
Mm.
This is, like she connected, and
Wow.
there was that
Huh.
response, but the way she said it was so, there was like this authority, but not like authority, like aggressive, but just this, no, I spoke to my body.
Hmm.
And I told it, and by sharing the story, I don't mean to say that if somebody has blood pressure, they're not connecting with their body, or if they're any of that. But
Hmm.
just for me, it was this mystery of the wonders of the body and the wonder of listening and attuning and responding and being in relationship with the body,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
and with self, and uh, yeah, and I witness it over and over and over again. And I want to name that I also witness it when there's unexpected outcomes too. When
Yeah.
there are outcomes that don't, it's not just the beautiful or
Yeah.
what somebody would say, oh, this is beautiful. I've also witnessed that mystery and awe when the baby is born with ailments that the family didn't know, and how the family can at
Yeah.
first feel fear and have like a, and then soften
Mm.
and move through with such wisdom and resilience and grace, and not resisting any emotions that are coming, but welcoming them and
Yeah.
moving forward and not clinging to any emotions. That's
Mm.
mystery. So
Mm. Mm.
so I think that um over and 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 over again, we can witness this
Mm.
regardless of what setting we're in.
Yeah.
I have done this in the birthing setting or in spiritual direction setting
Yeah.
because those are the places that have made my tail wiggle, right? But if somebody's tail wiggles um at a library, like
Yeah.
being a librarian, the same mystery's there.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
working with recycling, the same mystery's there.
Mm.
It doesn't, we get to listen to what makes our tail waggle
Mm.
and honor that.
Yeah.
Is waggle a word?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
It is now.
But that, um,
I love
but
it.
But we don't have to worry about if the mystery will find us or if the mystery is going to be
Wow.
there. If we're listening, if we're honoring that of, oh, I'm in my body here. Like I feel alive here. I this nourishes me. Um, I feel not alone here. I feel myself here. I feel like all of those things, if we're in those places, it already is. Mystery already is. The
Yeah.
connection with mystery already is. We're just
Yeah.
allowing ourselves to connect to
Yeah.
it by not resisting ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, that's so beautiful. Do you hear that? It's a frog.
No, I don't hear
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay. A frog just started croaking, I think.
Oh, hey,
For
you.
yeah, I know. Well, for me, I find that turning towards nature always is my
Yes,
way in, and so I had to name the frog that started speaking in that moment.
yeah. Now I do hear it.
Well, now it's gone. It's like
No,
the
no, no,
dancing
but I
frog.
think I heard it. Yeah.
There it is. Oh, well, I just keep thinking in this word gift. I just feel like you've given us such a gift, and your presence is such a gift, and I just want to thank you so much for who you are in this world, and I'm just grateful for your time and your presence.
Oh,
Is there any last thing you want to say before I let you go?
no, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with me and
Oh,
allowing me to be with you. Yeah.
oh, oh, I would like to do that more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, wonderful. Well, thanks again.
yeah.
Hope to have you back on the pod.
Thank you, thank you. And so much goodness to the journeys of all the listeners,
Yeah.
wherever they are. And yeah, may I hope that they get to embody whatever makes their tails wiggle
Tails,
and waggle and
tails waggle. I think that's a great place to end.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so, so welcome.
What a gift to have Louisa Lee on the podcast. She is so amazing. If you feel called to work with Louisa Lee, she is an active spiritual director. You can contact her at her website, birthinglight.org, birthinglight.org. I'll include a link to her website in the show notes, so feel free to reach out to her. Or if you want to work with her you have her as your midwife, she'd be happy to hear from you. Thanks so much. This podcast has been brought to you in collaboration with the Luce Foundation, the American Academy of Religion, and the Wild Women nonprofit. Thanks so much for joining us. Please follow us so you can keep returning to the fire. And in the meantime, be wild and be well.